So, when you have your first sexual experience, friends are very keen, your close friends are very keen to know how your experience was. When I remember when my friend asked me, how was it? I said, penetration was a problem. And that sort of became like the defining story of my sexually active life for almost 14 years. I used to think that I have this wall inside of me, and every time my partner tries to come inside, he hits this wall, and that's it. It was extremely frustrating. I think I obsessed about this wall so much that every time I was in this situation, I could visualize this wall and I could preempt my partner hitting it. So when we figured out that this is not an initial, first timer nervousness thing and it is more of a chronic problem, we decided to break that wall, which meant what it meant for me was to become mentally prepared and endure a lot of pain that was going to come through forced penetration. What a terrible thought. And I thought that if I endure this long enough, the pain will start reducing, or I will become more, I'll be able to break the wall. Of course, that did not work. And when forcefully breaking the wall did not work, we decided to circumvent the wall. We decided to circumvent it by indulging in longer foreplay, having oral sex, self-pleasure to climax. And I think to a certain extent, all of these things helped in the sense that we were able to experience pleasure. And when you're young, you are most obsessed about pleasure. But it never, for me as I grew up, it never built that deeper level of connection that I wanted to feel with my partner. And in fact, it created a distance between us. And of course, that impacted our relationship. And strangely enough, we never talked about it. There was complete silence when it came to this issue, as if being silent about it was going to make it non-existent. And eventually we decided to separate and part ways. All of this left a very deep impact on me because I always thought that I am a strong, independent woman who is not afraid of voicing her thoughts or opinions. And here I was, where I was not able to talk about this issue with my partner, let alone do something about it. And interestingly, it's not that I was not aware about the condition of vaginismus. I had read about it. An ex-classmate had posted about her own journey of vaginismus healing on social media. And when I read that post for the first time, I was like, I think I have it too. And yet, I did not do anything about it for good 10 years. I think somewhere as a single woman, every time you go out to seek any kind of health service, you get asked a lot of questions which are completely irrelevant, like why does a doctor need to know my marital status to diagnose my problem or recommend a treatment. And especially so for sexual health services, like you think that gynecologists would be more sensitive towards your issues and your needs, but that's often not the case. Unfortunately, I had two experiences of vaginal cyst removal operations in my life before I even got onto the journey of healing from vaginismus. So I had my share of gynecologists, of hospitals, being in maternal wards, and of course, like, these operations were very scary. They were painful, but they also brought a sense of shame to me. But as we know, with every difficult experience, there is a silver lining to it. For me, the silver lining was that these scary, difficult experiences somewhere made me realize that I need to find a safe, non-judgmental, sensible sexual health service. So I started looking for it more proactively, and I landed upon Proactive for Her's Instagram page. And my first outreach to Proactive for Her was to get second opinion on my post-operative healing journey from my cyst, actually. And that conversation with the gynecologist was extremely empowering. It was very fact-based, very comforting, no silly questions, and it felt really safe. And I was like, wow, like, these experiences are also possible. And it was around the same time that I came to know that Proactive for Her also offers vaginismus healing program. And then after 10 years of hesitating to seek help, I finally decided to sign up for the course. Before I signed up, I also attended some podcasts by PFH, and I think listening to other women's stories of healing was really encouraging, and it sort of gave me the confidence to begin on my own journey as well. And my experience has been extremely great. Proactive for Her's healing program is wonderful. It is extremely holistic. There is a perfect mix of building scientific awareness around the condition, around your own body, your body parts, how your body behaves in certain conditions, as well as a component of psychological healing, which is extremely important. And added to that is a component of pleasure coaching, which is a very important factor as well. So when I started my healing journey, it began by trying to understand that wall that I had built in my mind. And I realized that actually there was no wall. It was my own fears that were tightening my body and creating that fictional imaginary wall. So I started to familiarize myself with my fears and trying to understand where they were coming from. These were fears around sex, fears around relationships, misconceived notions about sex being painful, deep psychological trauma that I had been carrying from my childhood in my body, that was manifesting as tightening of my body when I was in a sexual encounter. And I realized that to let go of these fears began with normalizing these fears. There was this very interesting and funny example that my therapist gave me at the start of my healing journey, and I remember it had such a deep impact on me. She gave me the example of eating a burger. She said, when you're eating a burger, like a big Maharaja jumbo-sized burger, you stretch your mouth. You open up your mouth far and wide to be able to take a bite of that big burger. And she said that this is a completely normal process. Like you do this in public places. You sit in a restaurant with people, open up your mouth as much as possible to eat a burger, and it's a normal activity. And then she said that opening your vagina could also be this easy, this normal, this regular phenomena. And I was like, wow, this is a very fresh perspective, which really helped me. And from that day onwards, I decided that this was going to be my goal. Opening my vagina should be as easy as stretching my mouth to eat a burger. So ease or comfort, as well as pleasure, these were my two therapeutic goals in my healing journey. When I had signed up for this course, I was single. So I was doing this program because I was prioritizing my own self, my own body, my needs, and pleasure was a very important component of that. And somewhere it was also about understanding my own pleasure needs and prioritizing them. I couldn't have expected my partner to prioritize my pleasure if I did not know how I could experience pleasure. I think to cut to this day where the sexual agency and empowerment that I feel, I think that's all due to Proactive for Her and the kind of support and the healing they've provided me. At this point of time, if I think about what I want from my future sexual relationships, it's not painless sex that I'm looking for. It's equitable pleasure is what I'm looking at, where partners are able to understand each other's bodies, each other's pleasure needs, make a safe space for it, be consensual and respectful about it. It is so important. And be excited to be on this journey to discover each other and each other's bodies. That's what I look for in a relationship. And I think the confidence that I have, the clarity of what I want and at what terms do I want this, is something that I owe entirely to Proactive for Her and its team of experts. So thank you.